So I met this chick at the bar.
Yeah?
Oh, dude, she was hot. She was just like,
Oh,
hey,
man,
you just want to
awesome.
pop? And I was like, yeah.
Too easy.
Yeah. Oh, hey.
CIB. Hey, where'd you earn that CIB at?
The PX? What? It's not stolen valor. I bought it with my. Oh!
Trying to wipe my nose real quick before I blow my nose.
Well, it wasn't a 10-minute intro like everybody seems to be doing nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, even mine's like 3 minutes.
Yeah, I throw the throat punch Thursday in there just because I like it. Hello to everybody in the chat. We're going to wait to really start digging into this. But guys, you've fucking blown up my inbox. This Tav v. Sloan thing. And Josh, I know you've covered it quite a bit.
Yeah, I got about 3 videos, 3.5. You know, I did. And since we're just kind of go through it initially, the truth is none of it. I mean, I'd heard all this shit about Tav. I had directly, directly as in on YouTube, confronted Tav on the hat. I didn't like the hat, but it was the way that Sloan was covering it and then demanding Tav show his military documents and proof, and then refused to show his own proof. And it's kind of where we're at. I'm not calling the dude stolen valor. I'm not even saying he's lying about what he publicly claims, but there's a lot of weirdness around it.
Yeah, Richard, my box got blown up so much it looks like a busted ravioli. Yeah, Ernie's still running around saying he's a vet. Supposedly he's off YouTube right now, but
he came back on.
Oh, did he?
Oh yeah.
I knew that wasn't going to last because he's got too much grifting to do.
He came back on Katie's that Blame Katie chicks channel and show. There's a lot of they get into some dark ass shit, man, over there, to be honest. They got people calling child services on other people. It's like a game I don't want to fucking get into.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. Especially doing the stolen valor stuff, that you get exposure to all the different communities there are on YouTube. It's really kind of weird. Because you've got the auditor, anti-auditors, you've got that community. With Ernie, you got the what is it? Predator,
right?
Child predator chasers or whatever. And every one of these genres that are out there have their own little communities and people that are well known within those communities. And I've been subjected to those, not really subjected, but exposed to those.
Yeah.
And you meet a lot of good people, but then again, you meet some that aren't. And
cheeky monkey. They're not alcohol. Be Mighty Kind Seltzer. I don't get paid by them. I don't. I but whatever. Yeah, go check out the seltzers. They're good to go.
Well, so one of the first things I just want to talk about, and I've got a summary of what the Stolen Valor Act of 2013 is. And it's just a little summary that I'm just going to read because I've got a little notepad that I've got it written down on the computer. And the Stolen Valor Act of 2013 amends the Federal Criminal Code to rewrite provisions related to fraudulent claims about military service subject to a fine, imprisonment, or not more than 1 year or both for an individual who with intent, I'm going to say that a third time, with intent to obtain money, property, or other tangible benefits. Fraudulently holds themselves out to be the recipient of. This is the second part of it. Now, these two go together to create stolen valor. A recipient of a Medal of Honor, Distinguished Service Cross, a Navy Cross, an Air Force Cross, a Silver Star, a Purple Heart, a Combat Action Ribbon, Combat Infantryman's Badge, Combat Action Badge, Combat Medical Badge, or a Combat Action Medal, or any replacement or duplicate medal for such medal as authorized by law. So it's kind of a two-pronged thing where you have to have that intent for those items, tangible items. Now, what would you consider a tangible item? That's a question too. A tangible item, could that be gaining subscribers on YouTube to become monetized? If you are monetized, could that be to get views on YouTube in order to earn income? That's a tangible benefit. Obtaining money, property, or other tangible benefit. Also, with being a recipient of one of those, holds themselves out as being a recipient of one of those awards or decorations. So you'll look back on my stuff. And my only caveat to that is I will stray away from that when it comes to people claiming that they're special forces, as I did with Anton Gomez. Uh, that's been quite a while. Or the Round Ranger. However, he was claiming Purple Hearts and had it on the uniform. Um, Jeremy DeWitt wearing a set of Army dress greens.
God,
Special Forces had a Silver Star on the dress greens and the ribbon rack. Um, Kaiser, 3 tours and 2 Purple Hearts. So they all have something in common when I out them. They all meet the basics, and not all of them, but 90% of the ones I do meet the basic criteria set forth by the Stolen Valor Act of 2013. Now, I've had some people tell me, oh, it's their First Amendment right. Correct. And that's why the 2005 version of it got shot down. I can't remember what the case law was on it.
it went to the Supreme Court.
It did.
I forget the whole thing with that guy, truthfully, what it was.
I can't remember what it was, but anyway, it got struck down as a First Amendment right. However, they just changed it. So, and this is a little more pointed. Now, in the decision on the 2005 Stolen Valor Act, the SJC basically stated, or the Supreme Court in their decision, in their opinions, one of them put in there, yes, it's their First Amendment right to claim whatever. However, it's the other's First Amendment right to tell the truth. So that's why this whole thing after 2013 really blew up with people calling them out. You've got these websites. Dear friend of mine, rest his soul, John Leela from thisainthell.us. He kind of mentored me. He called out a few people that were actual veterans and, ate crow on it. And he made sure that when I was asking him questions, whatever you do, don't call him out. And I said, yep. And I used him as a sounding board. I use Steve Anton over at Guardians of the Green Beret.
Yeah.
I've got some really good guys out there that have been doing this a lot longer than I have. Well, I used to with John, but because it all started back with Mary Shantag and her husband with the
Yeah,
POW
POW network. Yeah.
Um, it's been going on for a long time. Doug Sterner was the one that got the 2005 bill passed,
Hmm.
and Vietnam vet himself, and he's the one that really got the ball started. And then Mary and her husband got involved with the POW MIA network, and it's got a really deep history to it.
That was the POW network was kind of my entry. And I love, dude, it was crazy. I could spend hours. I remember it was like 2007 time frame, right? Maybe
Yep.
a little after that. Like I would sit and because I was at school, and so like I would do homework and I'd sit at my computer, and then I could like go for hours and just deep dive reading the shit on these guys. They did a really good job, especially with kind of early, forum sort of thing or what they were doing. I thought of really compiling each person's thing, and then they were really meticulous about here's what we got from NPRC. Here's what this is. Here's what he's claiming, and then giving evidence of his claim of that person's claims or whatever, and then like a status thing. The guy apologized, blah blah blah, or didn't apologize or whatever. But I really like that. They were my entry into it. And then This Ain't Hell was, there was a couple, I do remember going down some great rabbit. I really liked that. I liked what they were doing.
Yep, I did. I did the whole thing on the guy out of North Carolina, the Round Ranger they called him, because he posted a bunch of wedding pictures wearing dress blues with the tam beret, and he had it dressed over the wrong eye, and it was, and he was a heavy drop on top of it all. So it is what it is. So let's talk a little bit. Well,
We got Sloan in here.
yep, yep, that's fine. Um,
Already with this, like, demanding other people show shit, not willing to show shit. It just doesn't look good, dude.
so
But
this whole thing, and like I said, I don't cover it because it doesn't meet my criteria, as I've explained. Uh, so
Well, let's just start with Tav. Okay. Tav is been around since I came on here, two and a half, going on 3 years, basically. I think like 3 years. And he was before I was even really even interacting with YouTube at all. I saw Tav, and I saw two vets going over covering Tav, like watching videos. And it was interesting because they would show videos and then they would talk it. They didn't have any of his military records or anything. Two Army guys. And they were wrong. They were like, there's somebody who's been in wouldn't do this or that, whatever. I don't think their intent, I don't think they were wrong on purpose. They were just going through and like kind of showing like what it is. But he got verified, and then somebody told me, I don't think I was interacting with you. I don't think I had contacted you yet, but like somebody was like, he's a vet. He's just a crazy dude. Like, it's not worth going down that trail because he wants to pull you in so he can be like, go look me up, dude. Boom, verified. And then what you're doing is inadvertently verifying him. And so he wants you to do that shit.
So yeah, Tav, I
I just didn't even
through different online lives I've been on, other people's panels, is how I knew about him and his antics with filming at the VA, and he had real problems with the VA, and I was like, yeah, I said he was in the Navy. Which somebody sent me his name and date of birth, so I looked him up in SCRA. I found his Navy time, active duty time, his Coast Guard active duty time. I didn't hear any claims that were making me think anything otherwise,
Yeah.
and that
Maybe
was
maybe
that.
it was you. I think maybe it was you because you had you're like he's very because you I don't know if maybe I brought him up, but you were like he's been verified as an active duty vet. I'm not going any further than that. He doesn't like you're saying. He doesn't make a bunch of claims or whatever. Like I'm not. It's not especially you. Like I mean, I'll do a little differently, but you have uh Sloan, by the way, you told me you never said you were in the VDF, dude.
Uh,
I, I,
I,
I
I, 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 don't get sidetracked.
come on, man. I mean, it's just nonsense. But anyway, but yeah, so I was like, all right. And then I saw Tav, verified vet, right? But then he was wearing the hat. And I initially also had a problem with the hat because I was like, dude.
I didn't even know. I knew he was wearing a hat. I didn't even look at it. I didn't give a shit.
So yeah, and I should have not. I mean, also, it wasn't like but I did get into it with him. I fucking went back and forth with him, and he did what he does to everybody. Come take it off me, blah, blah, blah. All right, Sloan, you're a
So
liar. But anyway.
that's like the ribbon rack behind me. That's not actually a picture of my ribbon rack, but every ribbon that you see on that rack, I have.
So
I've either been awarded or earned.
So I went to him with the hat, and I was like, dude, and he's like, I was in the Gulf War era. And even then I was like, you're not, but not Gulf. You weren't a Gulf War vet, like particular. Anyway, and then I was like, but that says OIF, regardless of, even if you were in Desert Storm, Desert Shield, that's it. Because I just saw the OIF thing, and that's what I focused on. And so then he's like, come take it off me. And I'm like, yeah, I don't care. What is this? Why am I getting into it with this dude? He's a crazy person. It's a hat. Who gives a fuck? You know?
Keep yakking, and I will be right back.
All right. So while we're here, Sloan, you did. No, he's not claiming he has all those ribbons. Sloan, come on, dude. I mean, in all honesty, man, you legitimately said you were in the Virginia State Guard. There's not a Virginia State Guard. There's a VDF. You didn't. And then I said VDF, and you said no, Stoner. I said State Guard. Like, okay, dude, whatever. I'll take all your claims at face value. But the thing is, man, and it's partially what we're talking about here is if you're going to call out another vet, I mean, first of all, if your whole existence is to dox people and to call out people, you know, especially vets specifically, and then you make claims and then won't show it yourself, I don't know how anybody else is supposed to think of these things, dude.
Hey, how about this one?
Oh, you got to do it. Oh, I can't see it. What is it? Of course, I'm half blind.
It says Harvard Police.
Oh, shit.
A friend of mine's the chief at the Harvard Police, and he gave me this hat.
Cop impersonator.
Am I? Because I'm wearing a hat? He gave me the hat when he made chief. Oh, here, man, have a hat, blah, blah, blah. I was like, cool. It hangs on my hat rack because I got a whole bunch of different hats.
Wait, hold on.
But I got to keep my Dickbag Patrol hat on. Actually, it's DP Brakes, but you see where I'm going with that? I can only imagine what Josh is going to come out with. So anyway, yeah, I saw the hat.
So I had a CIA thing, but this is a Defense Intelligence Agency hat. I was military intelligence. I was never DIA. Am I fucking pretending to be whatever? It's dumb.
So people came to me about Tav, about his nonprofit, about all of that shit, which I easily went and looked it up and found it, and it was a legitimate. It was legitimate with the IRS. It was legitimate in, I guess it's in Maryland. I'm not sure. I don't remember now. But, you know,
Yeah, where they got it out of.
it doesn't take a lot to do some research on the internet, um, for the most part.
Uh, the issue is the hats like that implies the wearer served. I agree. Look, I have been pretty clear. I, if a buddy of mine was doing that and I would be like, dude, you can't. Come on. You know, like, I would say something, but it's not a big deal.
So even if wearing that hat, he's not claim. He's
I get it.
okay.
It's
He's wearing a hat. The hat's got ribbons on it. Some of the ribbons he didn't earn. They're not any of the ribbons or decorations listed in the Stolen Valor Act, nor, and we're going to bring this up now. I don't know how this is going to fucking work, but boom. So what we have here is I did a search for Maryland Stolen Valor law, and guess what? They don't have one. 2016 Senate Bill 0006, impersonating a military member, penalty, Stolen Valor Act of 2016, which is when they brought this forward in Maryland, and it's been sitting in committee. It was referred to a committee and never went anywhere. It was also cross-filed with House Bill 0068, which basically is the same thing.
So
So they were looking to enact this. It went to committee, and I don't think there's ever been any movement on it.
So what is that? Okay, so let's play this with the
So-
Tav thing.
And the way Maryland looks at this stuff is more toward fraud, theft by deception, that kind of stuff. So they don't have an actual stolen valor thing. However, they look at it as fraudulently doing things where you're trying to, get money or whatever, donations, so on and so forth. But they do not actually have a stolen valor law on the books in Maryland.
So I think we could all say I think with real, you can say legally Tav is not committing stolen valor. Forget like
Not
kind
by
of
law.
everyday Apple,
No,
everyday
not by law. He's not.
Not by law. He is not.
And
Now-
wearing the hat, even though it makes you think that person served in Operation Iraqi Freedom, again,
Harvard Police, DIA. So okay. So then
does it suck? Do I like it? No, I don't. I don't wear shit I didn't earn or was awarded. I don't do it. I never would. And that's like I've got a whole bunch of these freaking hats from all these different people. They'll give me a hat or a patch. I don't put the patches all over my jacket. And even if I did, would you think that if I had a jacket that had all these patches all over it, would you think I was in each one of those organizations or served with each one of those units? No.
Yeah. Or if you asked, or if somebody asked, then and you claim you did, now that's a different thing. That is a different thing. But Sloan, in your videos, buddy, I'm just trying to clarify here, man. I'm really not trying to slap fight with you. I don't give a fuck about you. But like, if in your videos, he doesn't, in fact, he's kind of specific. He's like, I think I got, this. And I also, they're service ribbons. They're not personal awards.
No, campaign ribbons or service ribbons. Again, not listed. They're not any type of an award. It's more of a participation medal.
So, okay, so let's do this thought experiment. So, okay, I think we can say both of us dislike the hat, that he wears the hat. Like, there is a little, it feels a certain way. And on a personal level, I would not wear anything that is specifically military. I wouldn't even wear a unit I wasn't in. I just on a personal level. Sometimes I feel like maybe I take it a little too seriously, more than probably necessary.
Sometimes you do.
But I feel like there has to be integrity in kind of what you're doing, and with that, just on a personal level. But at the same time, though, so let's think about this. So if I put that hat on, I actually had to think if I even had the Armed Forces Expeditionary.
I don't.
I did because so one of my Iraq, so the 2 Iraq tours, right? I wanted to get the truth is I wanted to stack my deck a little bit. And they're like, okay, on the second time, it's like, okay, you can either have an Iraq ribbon here, an OIF one with the phase, and an expeditionary here, or you can like combine the Iraq ones or something. And I was like, make it 2.
Oh, the GWAT and the
Or GWAT expeditionary. I'm sorry.
GWAT
GWAT,
and
not
the,
Armed Forces.
yeah, I got both, but you can only wear one at a time.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, there was the GWAT expeditionary. But my point is, like, look, I don't know. I mean, that was a while ago. I had to fucking think about it. But if I wore that hat, right now, I am verified, documents, all that. OIF veteran. There are.
I don't know, but are you?
Nah. I don't know if you know this or not, but I went to language school. I gotta think. There's like at least 3 ribbons on that hat that I do not rate. Now, would I be stolen valor? Would somebody like Sloan, would you call me out on that? Like or not just Sloan, I'm not trying to pick on the dude here, but like whoever, this Rick Middleton seems to be thinking the same thing. So would you guys have a problem if I wore that hat? In all honesty, because there's ribbons on there that I don't rate.
Sorry, I gotta be on top.
It's your show. You're good. It's your show. It does make it a little funnier if I'm on top. But so I don't know. What would you think if I was wearing that hat? Or I don't know how I would feel if I saw somebody doing. The truth is, if I saw some dude wearing that hat, I wouldn't even say anything. I wouldn't even care. I would just be like, huh, walk the fuck on. Dickbag, that's a great point here, man. Look, I am not, none of this in any possible way is meant on my end. I'm not going to speak for Matt Sharp, retired there, but I'm sure it's the same. In no way is this saying I co-sign, I vouch for Tav in any kind of motherfucking way. I mean, the truth is, it makes me a little uncomfortable when he donates on my channel, but I'm not going to stop it. It's not really that big of a deal. No, because I feel like I worry like, well, are people going to think I'm co-signing this motherfucker? And the shit that he did at the VA, I thought was atrocious. I thought it was fucking abhorrent behavior and petty and stupid. And so it's hard because a lot of people only work in black and white in this anti-auditor world. And so, I wasn't tracking that. If you say anything at all good about one of these motherfuckers, and all I'm saying is the shit that Sloan showed, just solely based off of the Service Members Civil Relief Act, verifying the active duty time, and then the documents that Sloan showed. And again, I'll take those at face value that he got those from MPRC. It shows that Tav actually raised more ribbons on that fucking hat than I do. So, I mean, that's all I'm saying. And then those ribbons, again, the documented ribbons would qualify Tav to, make him eligible, I guess. I don't know the best word to say.
I don't think it would.
The SWA? I thought you just had to have an expeditionary.
No.
Okay, so I'm wrong about that.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know.
You have to. It has to be combat deployment.
Oh man, I don't know. Does it though? Because it just
Pretty
says on
sure.
the.
I mean, mine was no big deal because we had a, VFW that sponsored us, my unit, while we were overseas in Iraq, and when we came back, I just got a life membership with them. But I
Let's
had
see
to
here.
when I transferred here to my hometown, I had to give them a copy of my DD 214, and the things they were looking for was uh, the danger pay listing and being in a combat zone.
Okay, so membership is VFW is restricted to active duty or honorably discharged officer enlisted, blah blah blah, U.S. citizen who has served in the armed forces in any foreign war, insurrection, or expedition. It's
Okay.
it's the expeditionary medals that get you qualified.
All right,
So that's what I'm saying.
I
That's
buy
it.
that.
I mean, Tav claims, I'll take Tav at face value the same as I'll take Sloan at face value until proven otherwise. Tav claims, he's like, yeah, we were got endangerment pay twice, and his ship got a battle E. To get those, you have to be in a certain, and he got the SWA, right? And I get it. It was like years later. I had a captain who was my OIC who was like, how do you have a star on your Southwest Asia? Like, because at that point, the ribbon had ended. We were like the last deployment to get it, basically. And I was like, I don't know exactly. It was a shipwide thing. It's in my record book. I was a Lance Corporal. They're like, I was just happy to get a ribbon with a star on it. I thought it was cool. But like, even that captain with that swab was like, what are you doing? Like, he was a dick too, but
Cheeky, I think you're talking to me, and yes, I do. I still fit in my dress blues.
I do not. So, okay. So what, I guess that's it. I mean, I just want to,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
this is
yeah.
good to
Like I
clarify
said,
with
he
Tav.
he is a veteran.
Yes.
I verified that, and that's as far as I went with it. As far as wearing a hat, dude, buy a new fucking hat. That one looks like it's greasy and nasty anyway. So, just get one that says veteran on it. But
Also, I
and
agree.
and Woodrow brought up a good point. Those aren't even a replication of the award. Those are just some ribbons on a hat. It's not the actual award or anything like that. It's a representation of those awards.
If he was wearing those in a uniform way or an official thing. Oh my God. So talking to my cousin about this situation. So my cousin is retired Navy, and he was a corpsman, and he was Navy Reserves at like the same time. And we were talking specific. I was like, how would you feel about the hat? And his first instinct was, because he's a Desert Storm vet, and we were actually in Afghanistan in the same province at the same time. Totally separate things. He was at FOB Edinburgh. He's the dude who took the RPG out of that Marine's leg. He was like, fuck that guy. He's like, fuck that. I don't like that. He goes, I got it on there. He goes, but I was on ship. I tell people like, yeah, I got these fucking medals, but we didn't do anything. But his first thing was, so then I went to explain it, and he's like, well, he was like, I still don't like it. I'm like, I get you. I don't either. But then he's like, if he was wearing on his uniform. Oh, but what he said is, he goes, dude, but you're not going to believe this fucking story. He goes, there was a commander of his MEB, right? It's the medical battalion thing. And this dude had been prior service in a bunch of different ways. And he's like, man, this guy was like a stud. He had gone Army and done like SF shit or something. It was like, as he's telling me, I'm like, how does that not sound suspicious to you guys? But then he's like, then he went into the Navy, blah, blah, blah. And the Marines that they were with supporting loved the guy because he could talk the talk. And and he had stories and shit. And so they were going to award him, at like an end of tour type of deal or whatever, something. The admin went in and looked because they had to do it. And that thread got pulled and House of Cards fell. They arrested him in country. Yeah, they fucking arrested him and charged him.
That's crazy. Yeah, Angel, you're right. It's kind of like the intro video about the CIB and the punch in the throat. But again, that's a parody. Those guys make a bunch of them.
No, nobody's actually punching Tav.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you get yourself so worked up about it, Tav wants you to get worked up about it, right? That's what these auditors.
Part of his
do.
MO.
Yeah, all these auditors do the same shit. They want you to get worked up about it, because when you're worked up about it, then you're leading with emotion. And again, I'm speaking from experience on here. I have gotten way out over my skis because I was working on emotion and not being rational about shit. Yeah, Lupe, that is funny though. Yeah, you don't see GWAT guys walking around wearing Vietnam hats.
So let's look at another state law here, since I've got several state laws that I brought up that people are in those states, and we'll bring up Virginia next.
Well, hold on. I just real okay. While you're doing that, Andrea,
That's
Andrea, I just want to
Kentucky.
with you acting this way about this. How are we supposed to treat your military claims? How are we supposed to treat those if you won't show your evidence? You won't show your proof. You have it in your bio. How is that different than a hat? I actually think you are making a very specific statement when you put it in your bio, and you refuse to show any proof. You refuse to show any proof. I don't care, but you are on some kind of fucking rampage, and it's making you not look good, man. If you are who you say you are, and I'll take you at face value, you need to fucking get a hold of your emotions about this fucking hat, dude. Or start showing proof of your claims. But if you don't want to show proof, which is your prerogative, if you don't want to show proof of your very public, weird military claims, then you need to get a hold of yourself with the Tav thing. It's unbecoming, and you look like a doofus.
Made us bigger. I kind of like Restream. That was pretty good. All right, here's the Virginia law. Of course, you probably can't see it.
Hold on. He's threatening to dox me here. Hey, motherfucker, dox me, dude. Dox me. I've been through polygraphs. I had a TSSCI clearance. I was on SAPS. I don't care what you put out, motherfucker. You claim all of this shit and won't show any proof. And now you're doing the thing that dudes do, and you're threatening to dox me. Oh, no, do you know my criminal past? You get motherfuckers' data wrong all the time. Why would I even be? Whatever, dude. Put it out. I don't give a fuck. Go fuck yourself. Liar.
Yeah, Rebecca. I think out of the 3 or 4 DD-214s I've received over the years, and my NGB 22, I think I got all those ribbons covered, plus a bunch more. I've been doxxed. I don't give a shit. I've been doxxed. A couple of years ago, I had people calling the chief of police on me, trying to file complaints.
Oh, yeah.
And it all went fucking nowhere. So, well, that's because I'm not even going to get into it. Dox me, I don't care.
Sloan, when you say that you have my records, that is a threat that you're doxing. You play these dumb fuck games, dude. The truth is, man, the more you do this, the worse it looks for you. So I don't care that you do it. Really.
So here's my take. So I got involved with Sloan. He sent me a couple of emails requesting some information. At first, he asked me if I could run military records on a couple of guys, and I said, here's how you do it. I'll be more than happy to help you do it. So he submitted, and he got nothing back on both of them, and I was like, that's weird. And he tried a couple of times. So I tried, and I got nothing back on him. I don't know, maybe they got me blacklisted at MPRC. I got a stack of envelopes here, with their address on it already, because I always hard copy my stuff to MPRC. So I gave him a copy of the latest and greatest overlay that I got from Mary, and I guess that's been working for him because he got Tav's stuff back. So that's been my interactions with him in regards to doing FOIA requests and that kind of stuff. But then the whole Tav Sloan thing, which you knew it was going to blow up, because if Tav's involved with it, he's going to go after it.
And people don't.
So
Tav's aggressive, and people don't like Tav.
yeah,
Yeah.
I take him at face value. Like I said, he is a veteran. I don't like the fact he wears the hat. I think he needs to throw it away, burn it, do something, get a new hat, whatever. So then I caught a couple of things that you were showing where claiming this on his on Sloan's YouTube channel, this, and this on his Facebook channel, and then First Sergeant in the National Guard. So I'm thinking First Sergeant Army National Guard, which wasn't true.
Right. He said, and then he changed it to
His
Virginia
mistake,
Guard.
that's fine. I don't have an issue with that. The retired Navy, Master at Arms, and then it changed to Navy Reserve. And of course, all of that is now gone. So that really kind of makes me question credibility.
Yeah. And then refusal, just straight refusal to even answer when were you in the Navy. It all just doesn't look right. But I'm not saying it isn't right, but these are things that it looks like when you refuse to show proof of your
So
claims.
let's take a look at the Virginia law, false representation of military status. It is unlawful for any person with the intent to obtain any services to falsely represent himself to be a member or veteran of the United States Armed Forces Reserve, or National Guard by wearing the uniform or any medal or insignia authorized for use by the members or veterans of the United States Armed Forces Reserve, or National Guard by federal or state law or regulation, and obtain any services through such false representation. It's unlawful for any person with the intent to obtain any services to falsely represent himself as a recipient of any decoration or medal created by federal or state law or regulation to honor the members or veterans of the United States Armed Forces Reserve, National Guard, and obtain any services through such false representation. A violation of this section is a Class 1 misdemeanor. Blah, 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 blah. So there's your Virginia one. So, to obtain any services. It's kind of a unique way that they worded that.
Obtain any services. So like if you like got a discount or like, hey, can you throw this in because I'm a vet? Is that kind of what they mean, you think?
I don't know.
Huh.
And I couldn't really find any good challenging case law on this. But then again, I don't think they've probably ever prosecuted anybody on it. Because most states don't. It's not that sexy crime.
Apparently Missouri does, which I'm proud of.
Yes,
But
Missouri, obviously, my latest one.
Yeah.
And the reason I highlighted that guy, why? Silver Star.
yeah,
that
there's the Valor.
was- Yeah. The Valor portion of it's there,
Yeah.
as well as the Purple Hearts with the certificate.
Oh, that's right. Yes. And he is just an interesting case too, because he was really trying. I mean, he went through a little, not a fuck ton, but he went through the effort of like, I'm going to go to one of these sites. I'm going to have them generate. Let me think about what's going to be cool. It's one of the funniest aspects of all of this, just since I've been on YouTube, because it's really really started paying more attention, is how many people claim MP. And I just never thought of no offense to your job at all. Nobody ever claims my ammo. Recon, maybe, yes, I guess, or Marine, but like,
Yeah,
Army.
I've seen a few fake recon Marines.
Yeah. That for sure. Okay. But I do forget about that. The Marine shit. Yeah. People pretend to be Marine. Nobody ever pretended to be my Army jobs though. And I'm like, God damn it. And I'm like, what the fuck is so sexy about MP? I didn't also, I knew we were on a small fob with an MP company. And so they were out, but they were mostly escorting the guys out of my fob. They would help beef up the convoys running Route Irish. They would do other shit. They would transfer prisoners and all that kind of shit too. But I think their bread and butter, if I recall right, was beefing up the convoys basically, because Route Irish was
one of the best things that I always had as a comeback to officers. If you pulled them over on post for a traffic violation, and they start fucking yapping, sir, don't allow your rank to interfere with my authority.
Well, we used to call you road Nazis. We were like, fuck these road Nazis. Giving tickets to fellow Marines. But yeah.
Somebody's got to do it. Otherwise, you guys would be freaking out of control. Be like the Indy 500 on base.
Well, first of all, everybody be drunk driving, and it would be cars and trucks weaponized. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, looking back, but when I was a 22-year-old fucking corporal or whatever in the Marine Corps, like, fuck these dudes.
I remember this like it was yesterday. The Cav at Campbell had their own little compound, and they were it's air Cav, so they were off in their own little thing, and they had their big ball, and they did that. And I pulled over this fucking CW2. He was snot hanging drunk. And he was on his way back to the BOQs, the Bachelor Officers Quarters, and I pulled him over. He was going like 6 miles an hour. And he was like in the ditch most of the time. And I was like, all right, sir, lock your vehicle. I'm going to give you a ride back to the BOQ. I do not want to see that vehicle moved until morning. So get him out of the car, give him a courtesy ride over to the BOQs. I drop him off. Remember, sir, don't go back and get your car. An hour later, who do I catch walking down the side of the road, headed back to his car? I stopped, I picked him up, get in the car, took him back to the BOQs.
That was good.
I saw him he recognized me a few months later. I was working one of the gates or something. And he was like, I really appreciate that. And, he appreciated that I didn't hem him up. But that was before you'd get thrown out for an OUI.
Yeah.
That was back when most people were driving shit-faced.
There was a while there. It felt like they started kind of cracking down. I don't care, mid 90s. When I very first came in, it was just a free for all with a lot of shit. But you could still drink on base then at Pendleton. I was at Pendleton. And technically we could drink beer. We could buy beer at the E Club, but we couldn't buy it from the PX. But whatever. But when I was later on as I think I was a sergeant, but I had left 2-4, but there was a staff sergeant in 2-4, and he came in that back gate at Christianito's. Nobody knows this. It doesn't matter. But he came in, and the gate guards weren't MPs. They were at that gate. They were what they call FAPT, Fleet Assistance Program. So it's grunts that they make them go be lifeguards or work at the gym, or they do like 6 months at the gate or whatever. And so they knew the guy, and they were doing like what you did. They were like, hey, we can't let you in like this. Can you just park your truck and go? And they even called my buddy, this guy Matty, who was a sergeant, and he was like, hey, I don't want to give the guy's name, and it's not like it matters, but he was like, hey, he's up here and he's hammered, and he keeps trying to get back into his truck. And we just need somebody to come pick him up. That was nice of them, but they weren't MPs. But
For some reason, my camera has shit the bed again. You know, I use a Canon EOS RP, it's an R model camera that I use for my webcam, and I use their software. And they just did an update, and now my camera's crapping out again. Gotta love it. $1,000 camera, you can't hook it up.
Yeah, no.
All right, so we just went over the Virginia Code on it. The whole Sloan thing. Personally, I got an issue with the integrity of it.
With the integrity of what he's doing,
Well,
or what do you? I just to clarify.
just from watching the little bit that I saw from you,
Yeah.
and the claims, yeah, could he have made a mistake? Yep. And then the what was it? The VDF or whatever,
Yeah.
Virginia Defense VDF.
Yeah.
That's one of those volunteer organizations, a militia type thing, and
Which,
yeah,
by the
that's
way,
kind of what Ernie did in Tennessee because I
Yeah.
looked into that.
Yeah, it's pretty much exactly the same thing. And to be very clear, he did not say VDF. He said Virginia State Guard. And then I said, do you mean VDF? And he said, I didn't say VDF. I said State Guard. And so now, which I was a little bit worried about, but the truth is, because I don't want to make these guys better at their lie. I don't want to give them certain details that's going to make them better at their lie. But I thought, okay, this is an easy one to give up because I don't care about this thing. But now he's claiming, VDF, and he's still claiming the first sergeant thing. Sorry.
Here's one thing that if you're going to go after these guys, you're going to call people out, you're going to claim service yourself, you're going to, don't get all defensive when they start calling your service out.
It's really that was a really strange thing to me. Like most guys, if you're calling, show proof of what? Okay, it's in my comments, dude. Why do you keep demanding proof of other people, but you just very simply could just send your DD 214 to Master Sergeant? He's not going to give it to anybody. You think he's going to fucking sell his integrity out for this? Fuck no. Not for me, not for YouTube.
No.
Dude, come on.
No. That's you fucking
So Sloan, man, when you keep demanding proof from other people, refusing to show it on you, and then now I don't know if you just saw Dickbag was saying he's going on with GS tonight. Come on, dude. How do you think Andrea, as a 37 years of law enforcement, however many years in the Navy, how do you not understand how this looks to everybody else? I mean, I get it, man. You threaten doxing and you just put people's shit out there. Yeah, it is in my comments. When else have I talked to you, dude?
It's kind of like, a double-sided sword. You're talking about the impressions that Tav gives wearing a hat with campaign ribbons he didn't earn, but...
Right, but you put something in your bio, and then you were like... Then you got on Tav for not mentioning that he was Navy Reserves, but you didn't change your Navy Reserve thing until we started questioning what was going on with your shit. It just, whatever. And the fact that you go to KFAR, this is exactly.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You told me that.
KFAR thought GT
he showed it to KFAR.
Stolen. Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
He goes, I'm not showing you shit. I showed it to KFAR. That's all it needs. It's like, okay. KFAR thought GT was stolen valor.
Yeah. Not the most reliable person in the world, and
when it comes to
usually gets things wrong.
Yeah. When it comes to military shit, he gets it wrong a lot. Andrea, come on, dude. Just relax with this. Either show proof or shut the fuck up. The bottom line is, at this point, dude.
So what? What does he want you to show?
Oh, that the Virginia State Guard thing. Because all of these liars want to get you in. Look, if you guys hate auditors, this is what these guys do too. They want to move you.
Well, the Virginia State Guard, actually, it changed to VDF in 2013? I did a quick look at it.
Right,
There
yeah,
there
the
was
military.
something prior to that. Um, and now there's sandbag fillers and
Sloan, I would say twice, dude. I would say twice to answer your questions. But you know what? I admitted when I was wrong. I came right the fuck out and admitted. I fucking ate crow, bit the bullet, whatever goddamn fucking idiom you want to put to it. I was like,
that's too funny.
uh, show proof of what? Show proof or shut up of what, dude? Andrea, you're just not making yourself fucking look good. And if you look in this chat, there's a lot of fucking vets, man. And nobody is on your side on this one. If you want to call out a vet, you got why don't you have your ducks in a row? Why is it four that you know of? Okay. I'm not calling you out. Also, four
All right,
that you know
chill,
of. Shut up.
chill. Here's Kentucky.
What a fucking idiot.
Kentucky actually has one. Um,
Kentucky.
I don't want to read this because it's so freaking long, but it's KRS 514040. Feel free to look it up. But theirs is also, if it's a Medal of Honor, it's really bad.
Yeah.
Any of the other awards, and they all pretty much fall in line with the awards that are listed in the federal statute in the code. So, but they really get down in the dirt with it. It shall not apply to any person who or an organization which reenacting military history. I mean, they even put exemptions in theirs for people that dress up in World War II uniforms or whatever reenactments.
Yeah.
They have displays. An employee or a volunteer of a museum, and part of their duties is representing a member of the armed forces. They really get down in the nitty gritty with the Kentucky one. Alabama, everybody's favorite here.
Oh yeah.
13 Alpha 8 10.5 theft of valor. Congressional Medal of Honor gets you a felony.
Artie, by the way, there's no need to trust. This isn't about trust because nobody's saying anything other than we're just giving you, hey, from our perspective, when you operate the way Sloan is operating and you start changing stuff and you can't seem to get your story quite straight, it's how it looks to us. There's no trust. I mean, we're not, because nobody's saying anything about the guy. It just looks a certain fucking way.
So here's the Alabama one, and again, I don't see where it says felony, and they pretty much verbatim take a lot of stuff from the federal. Oh, my camera's back.
All right.
I don't know what the hell that's all about. They keep updating their software and they just make it worse. I'm gonna have to buy a Sony instead because they seem to have no issues using their cameras.
I'm still using my laptop. I gotta upgrade my system.
But I've got a lot of lenses too for Canon cameras. I got some really expensive lenses when I was playing with photography for a while. So Kentucky again. Is this no? This is Alabama, and then we got Oklahoma. Who used to reside in Oklahoma?
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
If your valor's stolen, and so is your computer, Kaiser.
Congressional Medal of Honor. The offender shall, upon conviction, be guilty of a felony and fined an amount not to exceed $5,000 and be imprisoned for up to 1 year, or both. It seems all of them are like 1 year in jail. Small potatoes when it comes to most of the guys that I cover. DeWitt, he's going to be in prison for a long time.
It took a bit for it to catch up with DeWitt, but it caught the fuck up with him.
Yeah, and he's still got a bunch of pending felonies out of Orange County for insurance fraud, and they're not going to go light on him with that shit. You know, fabricating motor vehicle accidents, and and he captured it all on his own helmet cam, which is hilarious.
And then tried the "wasn't me."
Yeah, it was me.
Wasn't me defense.
Who was that in that reflection in the window there? Sure did look like you.
Had a helmet on, you can't prove it.
Yeah, and last but not least, of course, the Florida, the Sunshine State. They have their own as well.
So Dickbag, just to go on just real quick on Dickbag's thing, not just that, but what was Andrea's first response? His first response was to go look up my records, which he has, he claims. Who knows if he has the right ones or not? I couldn't care less. His response was not, hey, I'm going to show proof of my claims. It was, I'm going to go get his records. It's a series of things that look a very specific way. But again, I've been wrong on here. You're right. You are right, Sloan. I have been wrong on here. So take it for what it's worth,
I've been mistaken many a time.
I'm not, by the way, being wrong, I'm not accrediting to Top at all. I personally, Josh, have been wrong. I'm also not calling you anything. I'm not saying anything. It just, other than pointing out how it fucking looks. That's all.
And yeah, I agree with that. It just doesn't lend any credibility.
No. And then you're going to go on GS, because if you had credibility, what you would do is you would get in touch with Master Sergeant and be like, I'm clearing this the fuck up.
The best thing I ever did was to just not even acknowledge that guy's existence.
Yeah.
I find my blood pressure stays way better.
Yeah.
Because every unit I've been in's had that guy.
That guy. And it's universal. And the thing is, when you say what's so fun about it is when you say it, everybody's like, "Oh yeah,
oh yeah."
Everybody knows that guy.
You're finishing up with a 2-hour PowerPoint block of instruction, and the instructor goes, "Anybody got any questions?" And you got that guy, and it's like a Friday afternoon, or a Thursday afternoon on a long weekend. 4-day weekend.
Shut the fuck up. We're all trying to get the fuck out of here. All right, gents. Anything else before we go? Sir. You're like, oh!
And the question is always like from back at the beginning of the slide presentation.
Right.
So then the instructor kind of thinks it's something really good, and he goes right back through all of it again. So 20 minutes later, you're sitting there like ready to go. The studio mannequin. No, I'm not a fan of his studio mannequin. And to be truthful, I haven't seen it on his channel. I've just seen it through restreams other places.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of creepy, actually.
His whole existence is a little creepy. It's a little. His whole existence is a little weird. But man, when you spend 18 hours a day on here and you use YouTube as your validation for self-worth, and you're gonna be a weird person. You're gonna be a weird dude, and I'm a weird dude. He's not a weird dude. You're like, come on, man, come on, get some in real life friends. Go touch grass, fucking hang out with your dogs at the park. Yeah, I read it.
Yeah, Dick Bag's like, yeah, we had that guy in our squadron.
Right.
He eventually got his ass kicked.
Right.
It does happen.
But Todd loves violence.
Lake life, I'm jealous.
Damn good at lake life. I told you that was fucking read on only, motherfucker. I get legally
weird dude hat. Yeah.
Yeah. Weird stolen valor.
Oh, wait a minute. change hats.
Yeah, the Harvard police.
Harvard.
Oh shit, he's a protector of the liberals. Cut that shit off.
Yeah, the reason my buddy's chief is he's pretty good with the politicking, and it's
Yeah, it's my parents are. We're not in agreement politically, but just whatever, it's all good. But I grew up in a house that I disagreed politically with everybody, and so I got told their opinions a lot. And so I just really learned. Oh, dude, when I was in my second Iraq tour, right, Bush gets reelected, and back then you could only get email. Like email was hard. Like it was real. Internet was real slow and all this shit. I did have a sat phone that we got as a team phone or whatever, but like, the internet was, so I could only check email also just like once a day, like, personal email, because of work shit. And Bush gets reelected. And my dad sends an email, and all it says is, "Welcome to 4 more years of evil." I'm like, okay. I emailed my stepmom. I'm like, hey, I get it. I get how dad feels and everything, but I don't have time. Can we just not politics while I'm over here right now?
Dickbag, your check is late this month for the promotion. K4 crying like Elon in the Oval Office.
Did Elon cry in the Oval Office?
I don't know. Did he?
I don't pay attention to this shit, man.
I don't either.
I
Politics, I stay away from.
The minutia, and you can get. There's so many sources of information, good or bad, and both, whatever. But you can if you want to be in and get, angry at something every day, you 100% will be able to find that. And I'm like, I don't care. Especially after DC, I'm like, I'm unplugging from the Matrix. I'm completely unplugging from this fucking Matrix. Like, I don't want shit to do with it. People ask me about the news, and I'm like, I don't fucking know. Don't look for me for any feelings about any of this shit, because I don't know what the fuck, And I purposely don't pay attention because I don't want to know, and I don't want, But so I just stay the fuck away from it.
Yeah, me too. All right, but anyway, I wanted to do this today.
Oh no, Linda, my parents. I love the shit out of my parents. These are all just anecdotal. I love the shit out of my parents. I live 5 minutes away from them right now. To be able and to be able to be like, I leave my phone. That's why you hear it. I know it's annoying sometimes when my phone rings or you can hear it while it's on, but I leave it on in case something with my dad happens or whatever, and they can call. Because I had it off one time and I missed calls for like a whole morning, and he called like 4 times because he had fallen. No, my parents are the best. They provided for me. They were just, and my dad is, he's a retired clinical psychologist. So you kind of think of, that kind of person, and he is that way. But he's also Sicilian. He's first generation fucking Sicilian. And he would say shit like, "You want to see your blood on these kitchen walls?" Like, there was an intensity to that dude. And people were afraid of my dad growing up, which is funny. I love the shit out of my parents. We just don't agree politically. That's all. It really
Yes,
is.
Chris, I'm reading comments. It is a brave new world we're living in. You never know. Very informative stream. Thank you, Dick Bag. I appreciate it. Like I said, my email, I was getting, 3 or 4 a day. Hey, you gonna cover this? You gonna cover this? You gonna cover this? It's like, no, I really don't want to, because it's not in my wheelhouse. Doesn't meet my minimums. But this whole back and forth, and you need to look at this guy. You need to look at this guy. You need to look at this guy. It's like, give me a fucking break, please. So I said, you know what? Today, Sunday at lunch, where I'm going to do it.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you asked me to do it too.
Yeah, and that's only because I really didn't. I didn't look at any of Sloan's shit, and then when I saw the screen captures, all right, he had this posted, then he had this posted, then he had this posted. Now he's got none of that posted, and he's got some other crazy shit on there. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, that does not come across as being,
Truthful about your claims. You know.
and I don't even want to say that. I just
Yeah.
want to say it casts a shadow.
Yeah. And the truth is, both him and Tav, I just did it because I don't know. I found it interesting, and to watch it kind of backfire, truthfully, on Sloan was the most interesting part of it to me. And just as a personality thing, I don't think either one of these dudes are stolen valor. I'm not, well, definitely not Tav. But like, Tav doesn't meet any of the criteria. Of course, Tav may have made claims in some kind of context in some other way that I don't know, that I haven't heard. I went directly, confronted Tav directly about it, and none of his answers, they were all like, yeah, I did. Go look it up. Take the hat off me. It never was, I was in combat, blah, 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 and all this stuff. He didn't go look up my records and threaten to dox me. He didn't want to try and intimidate me that he had my records. No, he just said
I didn't know Team Bandit was Canadian. There was a guy that was claiming he was a captain in the Canadian Navy that I outed. I've got a friend of mine that lives in Toronto that actually did a records request on him.
How did you do that? How did you do something?
I couldn't do it, request Canadian records, but my buddy could.
Oh, okay.
So, and the guy never served, but he was claiming to be a captain in the Canadian Navy. And trying to remember his name. It was some it was some fucked up name. He's out on the west coast of Canada.
How would you? I would not know. I mean, unless I just wouldn't even know how to register on somebody, because people have asked me about Shuggy, and I have no way to verify the Brits. They are also not freedom of information kind of people.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they've got something, but you would have to be in that country. You would have to be a citizen of that country in order to be able to request those kind of records, I would think.
Yeah. And to be honest, Shuggy sounds completely. I don't know what Shuggy has ever said that makes anybody doubt anything. He's just said I was in the Navy and then the Intelligence Corps, and he sent me a cone. Yeah, man, dude, Andrea, you wanted to intimidate me by letting me know you had my records, man. I'm not. You don't play a fucking complicated game, dude. You didn't use the word docs, but you wanted to try and intimidate me by saying you had my records, man.
Here's something that everybody can take away from this. If you're going to call people out for whatever reason, it's going to get turned around right back on you. So be prepared for it. Like I said, I've been doxxed. I don't give a shit.
I mean,
trying to keep your anonymity on here, it's only going to last so long. And eventually, it's going to come out.
Yeah.
It always does.
So just don't be surprised.
Always does.
So either get your lies better or understand how it looks or have a story ready. Have something kind of fucking ready. I don't like giving these guys the getting better at it. But they all eventually just, it all comes out. It's 2025. It's the fucking internet, man. You make these claims publicly, people just end up. I mean, I'm not looking you up. I am 100% being honest. This isn't like stomping my foot, wink, wink. I am literally not looking you up. I don't care. I am not chasing any part of you down. I don't care, because you aren't important. What was intriguing to me and what I wanted to show other people was the mechanics of what you were doing, and then talking about it, and then just talking about it. That's it. I mean, your disproportionate response is, telling, but whatever. You don't have to show anybody shit, dude. But at some point, especially if you're gonna call out a vet, if you're gonna call out another vet, and I am telling you right now, from experience, and I've said this numerous times, I got way the fuck over my skis with not fucking enough proof on Blue Bacon.
Oh, that guy's name is Carl Madera. It just came to me in Canada. He was like the scourge of the amateur radio world or some shit, making all these Navy claims and a bunch of other stuff, only to find out that nope. I was really surprised that he was able to get to file a records request in Canada. I wasn't sure how that all worked, but he did. So that was pretty cool.
No, Andrea, you're wrong here. I'm saying you're not important. It is important to show people, though, how these kind of situations often play out. And so that way they can have, if they're a civilian maybe, or maybe a military guy that doesn't have a ton of experience, you know, where you're like, hey, is this questionable? Instinct tells me this is questionable, but is it? No, you yourself aren't important, which is why you don't cam up or give your real name. Because if you were actually important, you would do it. But like, that's it. I'm just saying the mechanics of what you're doing is important.
This is how credible KFAR is. There's video out there too. He was going to come on my channel and do a live stream with me in regards to Kaiser. And still waiting. It's been over a year, and he's never so much as sent me another email. So,
yeah,
he has no credibility with me whatsoever. Not to mention, I mean, I did the whole body cam thing on the Kaiser arrest.
Yeah,
and they got that all wrong.
I mean, he got it all wrong. KFAR has little to no idea what he's talking about with almost anything. If it's outside being a notorious YouTube fathead streamer, he has no credibility. He just gets shit wrong all the time.
I would probably take his opinion on maybe some of the Keebler cookies, but
right. What's the best processed cookie? What's the best bad cookie to buy?
Yeah, exactly. I would probably take his advice on that.
But, Bernsey, did you under the Roundup thing? Oh, I will go back and look at those. He's put of KFAR verifying Kaiser's military career. I mean, incredible. And then admitting that Kaiser on video, him unforced. Nobody said anything. Put him in a corner or anything. Said Kaiser paid him. Like, holy shit. But when you don't have integrity, that doesn't seem like that big of a deal to you. But when you have integrity and you're looking at it, you're like, holy shit, you just admitted you got paid. I mean, pretty much everybody knew it, but you had not admitted it. It was great. It was good YouTube.
He's been consulted by the Girl Scouts. I like Girl Scout cookies.
I do too, actually. I mean, I'm a fat kid now. I like ice cream and cookies, man. No PFTs in my book. I gotta be better at getting back to the gym though.
Make fun of his fish.
Shiz triggered the shit out of him. Was looking at something he was doing, and I can't remember the whole scenario, but basically it was like, I don't even think there's any fish in that fish tank. And so he made like multiple videos of showing the fish. It's like, I don't know. KFAR is very easily triggered. That's what's fun about him.
So again, I hope this cleared things up. I hope, I mean, whether you like my opinion on the whole thing or not, I don't care. I explained the Federal Stolen Valor Act, the Public Law 113 whatever it is, under USC 18 whatever. I don't keep that shit on the top of my head. It's easier for me to refresh my memory with it every time, and that's how I do it. Just because I don't want to misquote it, although I have misquoted before.
But if you correct it, that's all that matters.
Exactly. That's what's his name there? He keeps going after me because I said USC. U.S. codes weren't a law. Well, U.S. codes are not a law. It's a codification of the federal laws. It's a way that they stack them up. Uh,
I have no idea.
you don't charge somebody with a federal law. You charge them with a United States code violation. So
Interesting. I did see something on that because I've thought about that because I'm like, I don't know whatsoever, but that was that thing that dude was hanging on to.
that's the only thing he's got to hang on to.
And
Other than the fact that a certain female failed her MEPS for being pregnant, but that entitled her to be a veteran with VA benefits because pregnancy is an injury.
it was a weird. It was.
So I guess she was laying on the ground. Somebody tripped, her dick fell in her, and she got pregnant.
Ah! Yeah, I did see someone say, I think it was GMK who I don't know if you know him, that account, but he was like, yeah, in legal terms they kind of use it interchangeably and as a lawyer or something like that.
Well, it's as an MP, you charge civilians on post with USC violations. Except for and the traffic stuff, even though it went to a federal magistrate, you as an MP, you got like two different ticket books. You got a ticket book, a 1408 ticket book, which is for military vehicles, and then the old 1805 ticket book, which was for people driving their POVs and shit like that, and they were uniform traffic violations. And when I was at Campbell, it was real crazy because you had two different fucking ticket books, one for Tennessee, one for Kentucky. Most of the post is in Tennessee, and the rest of it's in Kentucky. So you had to know where the line was, and yeah, I miss those days, but I don't. They were a lot of fun. The lack of technology was refreshing.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Not because you didn't want to be held accountable, right? I'm guessing, but just like it just made it. It's a different thing. It feels like it would be different.
It was much easier back then. You know, it really was. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for body cams. I think they're great.
Cover your ass.
And I've seen many times here, especially. What did he say? Coincidentally, between 1408 and 1805. What a fucking dickbag!
Brontosaurus was an MOS.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I left myself open to that. They were DD forms, by the way, Department of Defense.
Gus, I think you're right. I think that's it. To tie it all up, so the moral of the story is don't get upset over a fucking hat. I mean, bottom line, kind of, yeah.
That was a good one, dickbag. I'm going to remember that one. Oh, you have a deck to go swab or some shit?
A dude to go fuck.
Well, he's going to be on the bottom.
In the Navy.
All right.
Fatherless gay Ted.
Fatherless gay Ted.
He used to be, the name was 26-year-old Wrangler's gay son, Ted Wrangler.
Yeah. Been around for a while.
Oh, thank you, Burnsy. I will check it out for sure. I will check it out. I also got some other clips you sent for me. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Any other questions before we check out? Because
yeah, I need to eat too.
I've beat this to death. He does have knobs to polish. Yeah, I bet he does. All right, guys. I appreciate it. Josh, thanks for coming up, buddy.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. It's always fun to have you on here. You tend to bring some of the nuts with you.
Me
these
included.
nuts, you know. But thanks everybody for tuning in, and